Buddleia, or sometimes spelled, well, Buddleia, is a genus comprising over 140 species of flowering plants native to Asia, Africa, and the Americas. Our favorite botanist, Carl Linnaeus, named the plant in honor of the Reverend Adam Buddle, an English botanist and rector. Like Linnaeus, Buddle devised his own system for classifying plants called... Now, we don't know a whole lot about the good old Reverend, but it is said he lived in or around Hadley, Suffolk, and that he established a reputation as an authority on bryophytes. Bryophytes are a group of non-vascular land plants, such as liverworts, hornworts, or something you might be better acquainted with, mosses. Because they're non-vascular, they don't need roots to grow. You'll find them growing in clumps in shady areas, like under the trees in your yard. But let's get back to Buddleia, shall we? Naming the butterfly bush after Adam Buddle was actually suggested to Linnaeus by Dr. William Houston, 15 years after Buddle's death. In fact, Reverend Buddle probably had never seen a butterfly bush since it was discovered after his death, and so we can only imagine what could have been the connection between the bryophyte-loving pastor and the butterfly-attracting ornamental plant. Could it have been his book called A New English Flora? It was completed in 1708, but it was never published. If you wanted to see it today, the original manuscript is preserved as part of the Sloane collection at the Natural History Museum in London. So, back to William Houston, the fellow who felt so strongly about Reverend Buddle that he suggested he have a plant named after him. Houston went to school for medicine in 1727 and graduated with an MD in 1729. It was during that time that he became interested in the medicinal properties of plants. So, with his shiny MD in tow, he sailed the Caribbean and the Americas, employed as a ship surgeon for the South Sea Company. In the next 2 years, he would travel to Jamaica, Cuba, Venezuela, and Veracruz, delivering seeds and plants back to the Chelsea Physic Garden in London. Among them was Dorstenia contrayerva, a reputed cure for snakebite, and of course, Buddleia americana. Buoyed by his success, he quickly undertook what was to be a 3-year expedition for improving botany and agriculture in Georgia, and to help stock the trustee's garden planned for Savannah. However, he never completed that mission as he died from the heat soon after arriving in Jamaica. At least he discovered Buddleia. Buddleia species, especially Buddleia davidii and interspecific hybrids, are commonly known as butterfly bushes and are frequently cultivated as garden shrubs. Let's talk about spelling. By modern practice of botanical Latin, the spelling of the name made from Buddle would be Buddleia. But Linnaeus in his Species Plantarum spelled it Buddleia with the long I between the two vowels, which was common in early modern orthography. So, the pronunciation of the long I in Buddleia as a J is a common modern error. Or, to make it simple, you could just call them butterfly bushes. Of the approximately 140 species of butterfly bush, nearly all are shrubs, but a few qualify as trees, the largest reaching heights of 98 feet. You'll find evergreen species of Buddleia in tropical regions and deciduous species everywhere else. The color of the flowers varies widely, from mostly pastel pinks and blues in Asia to vibrant purples and reds in North America. The most popular cultivated species is Buddleia davidii, which originally hails from central China. The flowers are rich in nectar and often strongly honey-scented. While Buddleia davidii has become an invasive species in both Europe and North America, there are a few cultivars that are seedless and worry-free. They are the Miss series of Proven Winners ColorChoice butterfly bushes, comprised of Miss Molly, Miss Violet, and Miss Ruby, an award-winning shrub noted for its compact habit and vivid red-pink blooms. All are 4 to 5 feet tall and wide, which is about half the size of a conventional Buddleia. All members of this series are non-invasive and approved for sale in Oregon. The Lo and Behold series of butterfly bushes are smaller and also non-invasive. Varieties include Lo and Behold Purple Haze, a 2 to 3 foot ground cover type shrub with strong horizontal branching and royal purple flowers. Lo and Behold Ruby Chip, which is 2.5 feet tall and wide with dark pink flowers similar to Miss Ruby. And the even smaller Lo and Behold Blue Chip Jr. and Pink Microchip butterfly bushes. Each blooms with masses of brightly colored summertime flower spikes that bring pollinators from miles away despite their petite 1.5 foot to 2.5 foot habit. And speaking of petite Buddleia, the Pugster Series is the first to combine a dwarf habit with highly fragrant blooms that are anything but petite. These giant-sized flowers sit atop a sturdy frame that is better suited to areas where Buddleia experience winter dieback. Colors include the velvety soft Pugster Amethyst, Pugster Blue, Pugster Periwinkle, Pugster White, and the new Pugster Pinker, which is an improved pinker version of Pugster Pink. All four are hardy in USDA zones 5 to 9 and, when properly maintained, will stay 2 feet tall and wide. Maintenance. Let's talk a bit about the care and feeding of your beautiful butterfly bushes. Butterfly bushes are easy to grow, but here's how to achieve maximum garden success. Unlike the dear departed William Houston, butterfly bushes can really take the heat and want to be planted in full sun. When we say full sun, we mean it. They require a minimum of 8 hours of bright sunlight each day. Even if you live in warm climates, you should plant them where they get no fewer than 6 hours of sun. Butterfly bushes need perfect drainage. Their roots are super sensitive to rotting, and if they spend any amount of time in wet soil, they can perish. Silty or sandy soil is perfect for Buddleia plantings. Most of the time, if you lose a butterfly bush after winter, it wasn't because of low temperatures or snow or ice. It was because it sat in cold, wet soil in fall or spring. So, when you plant your butterfly bush, plant it high instead of positioning the plant even with the ground level like you would other plants. Dig a shallow hole and position your plant so that the base is a bit higher than the ground. This creates a small hill that encourages water to drain away from the plant rather than settle around it. And although mulch is a great idea for other plants, keep mulch away from your Buddleia's root ball and never mulch all the way up to the main stems. You should prune your butterfly bush in the spring after the new growth emerges. Make your cuts just above where big, healthy leaf buds have formed. Now remember, these guys sleep late. It can take several weeks into spring for new growth to show up, so be patient and resist the urge to cut them back too early. But do make sure you prune your butterfly bush. Left unpruned, butterfly bushes can become second-story plants, their flowers forming way up at the top, so you can't enjoy them unless you have a second-story window. The warmer your climate, the more you should cut back your butterfly bush each spring. Even dwarf varieties like the Pugster and Lo and Behold series still need annual pruning. And I'll say it again, butterfly bushes tend to be one of the later plants to leaf out in spring, so be patient. Even if everything else in your landscape is turning green, that doesn't mean you've lost your butterfly bush. It can be as late as Father's Day before you see new growth. Finally, don't overwater. Watch watering carefully, particularly if you have clay soil. If you have an irrigation system, be sure it's not spraying directly at your butterfly bush. Signs of overwatering include weak stems, fewer flowers, and dieback. Avoid planting your butterfly bush in the fall if you can, because Buddleia might get a little bit of winter damage in colder climates, so they'll need as long as possible to get established before they face the challenges of a cold, wet season. In USDA zones 5 and 6 especially, keep butterfly bush planting time to spring through midsummer so they have ample opportunity to develop a good root system that will sustain them through the winter. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this jaunt through history and a review of some of my favorite Buddleia cultivars and their care. Until next time, this Buddleia's for you.